And he finally says, well, you've either got prostatitis, which is a nasty bit of a disease, and the bone pain you feel is this Paget's disease. And that kind of thing is treatable and it's a nasty situation to be in, but, you know, we can work through this and get it done. And I said, okay. And I said, or? And he goes, or it's prostate cancer, and it's escaped the prostate, and it's now metastasized, and that's what the bone stuff is. That's what the bone pain is. One of those two scenarios. So I'm sitting there, weirdly, catching myself going, I hope I got prostatitis. I hope I got prostatitis.
Yeah, really.
As if that's a thing you ever wish on yourself. But in this situation, it was preferable. And so as I was dealing with this and ready to ask this guy, okay, so when do I find out which one of these it is then? Because I still don't know what it is. He leans forward and leans into me like this and he says, it's prostate cancer. And I just looked at Penelope and I kind of smiled, because what he had done was, apparently he's not supposed to tell me exactly what the hell. He's the emergency room doctor. He's got to check everything out. He's a couple different possibilities, and your specialist guy who's in the same hospital networking thing, he's going to get a hold of you tomorrow or the next day and give you the word and tell you what you got to do and how this battle against, so to speak, is going to start. I followed, like, not any kind of genius, but just picking it up and saying, what's this? Rick Simpson oil, Google it up, have a look, go to YouTube, research things, go back and read about it and find out it's not that hard to learn about it. It's not that hard to do. Finally, they got a hold of me. Like after 7 days, they got a hold of me and said, okay, we need to tell you what's going on and you got to come to this appointment. And that was around 28th of November. Or sorry, November.
Yeah,
somewhere in there. 20th of November. And we go in there and I've already been starting to take the oil. And a little bit at a time, like a pinhead, you know, and then a little bit more, and then eventually grain of rice, and then you got to build up a tolerance. Is pretty powerful stuff, evidently. and then what was I saying there? Then we get to this point where I'm doing a little bit every day, all through the.
So at the beginning of your cancer treatment, you were already using the RS oil before the
pre-cancer treatment.
Before
a couple of days after diagnosis.
So, right.
4 days after diagnosis, I'm on this oil.
Right, and before you even spoke to an oncologist.
Oh yeah.
So you're meeting with the oncologist, you're already on the cannabis oil, and it's late November.
Before I got to the oncologist, I had to see my urologist first. The
guy that was the guy.
Didn't find stuff, whose office did the sonogram thing, it couldn't find, but complained about I got too much water in me.
Yeah.
That guy. He was the next bringer of the torch in the line of the...
Dr. Kennard.
The interchangeable baton passing of information structure.
Yeah.
Medicinal.
The hierarchy.
It's like walking through a maze. It's like doing crosswords, kind of thing. And
with the argument sketch in Python.
So we go to see this guy. He's my urologist. This guy was with me before. He's got the news. He's the guy that was supposed to tell me what the emergency room doctor told me, the official thing. The emergency room guy who wanted to help me out, let me know kind of thing. Well, thank God he did this, because I got a head start. So it's now November 28th, like a week and a half later, and this guy says, so, thanks for coming today. The door's shut. We're in there, the two of us are waiting. Well, he's got the chart. He's kind of, well, you know, this is kind of the situation. You came in with these numbers, and this number means that, and that number means this, and you have prostate cancer. And I was like, yeah, I've already been so informed, and I've already started to deal with it. And he's like, oh, okay, well, that's good. That's nice. He says, you have a PSA, which is a prostate-specific antigen. This is the reading that they get you to see how you're doing. And if you're at a 1 or 1.5 or 2 or 2.5 or 3, or if you're getting around 4, you want to look at that. Might be some preventative things you can do before it pops out of control. And 5, 6, 7, on up to 10, oh boy, you're in trouble. Things are not going well. And
you have prostate cancer, mister.
Yeah, and a lot of guys that are older get it, don't die of it. They die of maybe they have other degenerative things, or they're aged in different ways. And when they die, they go, oh, and he also had prostate cancer.
Ian McKellen's had prostate cancer for like a decade.
Didn't know. Yeah. And that's more likely to be something that you'll feel less if you are older, like a 75 kind of year old guy. And that's the problem with that. So it's kind of 25, 50 is really uncomfortable.
Super high, crazy.
And a lot of these guys have this. And he tells me, you have a 700. Well, Well, I started laughing. Every time I think about it now, I was like, oh, what? Ooh, ah. It's, you know, it's like if you went to the grocery store and said, oh, you rounded up all your stuff at some health food store, it was expensive. And they go, that's $4.3 trillion. What? Oh, I better put the grapes back. Holy shit. I said, well, what am I going to do? Like, that sounds like you're so far down. And he's like, yeah. And I said, what are we going to do here? And he says, well, we're not going to do anything. I'm your urologist. You're now going to be in the care of one of our best oncologists. And I'm like, oh, passing the baton here. And he goes, yeah. And he gets up. He gets up right after this, in this little room that we're in, not very bigger than this balcony. He gets up as I'm sitting there. Doesn't say anything more. He gets up, walks towards me, and on the way back, gives me a pat on the back on the way out and shuts the door. See ya. Good luck on the next phase of this journey of shit. So, then I got booked to see the oncologist. This was December 28th, and now I've been on this stuff for like a month or something. Since the 24th. And during the Air Farce shooting, I was only doing little tiny increments of this stuff because the first time I did it, on Sunday the 24th, I got so friggin' high off it, like a pinhead. I was like, I can't work like this. There's no way I can be on time for things and get to build, read scripts and understand.
Have comedy time in.
Listen to the director, understand things. A lot of stuff going on. I can't do it. So I didn't take anything more than the tiniest drop of pinprick to spot it tomorrow, Monday. And that's what I did during the days. I had a little bit of this, just a little tiny bit. And then at night I'd take about a pinhead before I went to sleep. Helps you sleep. Puts you down into a comfortable fast sleep. And I had not been having good sleeps for a long time because this constant pee thing all the time. To get up in the night 4, 5, 7 times.
Can't get comfortable too. You're just,
yeah,
you can't.
7, 8 times a night. And as it got worse, sometimes every half hour. So, yeah, I couldn't take much of it because I knew I had to be, you know, aware and understand. You're trying to make a TV show with a team of other folks. You're just a cog in the machine. If you screw it up, it's no good. So, okay. And then at night, and then on the weekends, jack it up. And we did this for 2 weeks to shoot the show. And then I really started pounding it on. I was done with the show. You know, then they just edit it and they air it later, and that's it. I'm not in that phase, of course. And just... okay, now I'm home, I got nothing to do, we're gonna jack up the dose, and yeah, I was sleeping hard and heavy, getting really great bouts of sleep like I've never had. Go to sleep at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, which is early for me and most comics you'll ever meet. Yeah. And go to sleep there. Not like I was doing sets while lying fallow from a fatal disease, but go to sleep for like till 2, 3 in the morning, maybe get up, go to the bathroom. Oh, that's too bad. Hopefully I was getting through that part. And then go to sleep again until like 8, 9 in the morning. Then get up, have a little breakfast, maybe sleep from like 11:30, 12 to 4 again. Get up, have a little something to eat, and then, you know, it's been like 4 or 5 days of this in the darkest times where I was doing the biggest doses. And just every time I got up though, every time I had to go to the bathroom or shuffle downstairs and maybe put the kettle on for something, I felt a little bit better. As this was happening, I got a little more sense of strength. A little bit, yeah. Started doing some push-ups off of the countertop. Anyway, 375 is much lower, almost half of 700. And he's looking at this going, oh, 375? What lab was this? Maybe we got to do this test again. I don't know if I can trust these results. And I'm thinking, okay, you know what? Maybe you think you can't, but I know that I feel like shit right now, but I can tell you I feel a lot better than I was coming in here with a crashed out, horrible, disastrous, pain-filled November 20th day, clocking in at 700. I'm functioning, I'm getting around, I'm doing things, and, you know, there's some pain and this and that, there's some trouble, for sure. And I'm in a mess, absolutely. But I can tell you, there's a difference between where I was when I got coming here and now with this 375 thing. And he's like, okay, well, I'm supposed to be kind of at 700 or more, logically, right? With this condition that's kind of acceptable. I was having such great results with the cannabis oil itself. I said, forget this. And then the next month, I'm down to 24.
24?
Well, they said they were going to take a year on this freaking drug to get me down to 25. So I know the drug helped maybe.
So a month later, you're down to 24.
Huh?
So in January, you're down to 24.
After a 375? And I've jacked up the dose of the oil. Do a little balance, take, you know, if you drink a glass of water empty kind of physics, follow the thing. 24, and I'm feeling better too and doing stuff.
And not looking sick, you're probably looking better too by this point.
Looking better. Yeah, coming up, everything's starting to feel better. My appetite's picking up a bit. I'm eating a little more, and that's neat, and I'm actually getting rid of some of it too, and all of these problems and symptoms commensurate with this disgusting disease are kind of less there, less around, and fading away kind of. And I'm feeling better. And it's really happening. And I'm jagging up my dose more at night when I go to sleep, because that's the best one. That's the best one of the day. The one where you're sleeping, lying fallow, and letting this stuff do whatever it does. Cleaning the blood. All the fantastic stuff it does. Research it on Google. I'm going to sit here and tell you about it clinically. This is just my story that happened to me. And I'm not saying if you get this, go do this. I'm saying I got this, I did this, and now I'm having a blast. Sitting here looking at this town I'm in again, Ottawa, and having a fun time, and I kick this thing, and
you should be in a box right now.
Should be in a box, and when I go back to the dentist, the doctor, you know, the first time after I took it, well, he couldn't believe it. Like the way I jumped into the room and hopped up onto the table, which I couldn't even get onto before. He said, I don't understand this. You must be doing something, he says. You must be doing something. And I said, I am. And he said, what is that? And I said, I'm taking pot oil, hemp oil. And immediately, yeah, well, you know, that kind of stuff, if it works at all, it's only because it's running along the same endocrine system pathways that the drug that you're on is really not kind of. So I don't really think so. Listen, so come back on the 20th. I just kind of dusted it aside and start booking the next appointment for the next series of injections.
Yeah.
It doesn't say anything about it. But then also conveniently and interestingly, as I was frustrated by the lack of recognition that I was even using it, and saying to him, like, well, you said you're going to take a year to get me down to this 25, and here I am a couple of weeks later with a 24 off of the 375. Well, you know, we got to check the reading. I really should. Just fudge. And I'm bouncing around like a jackrabbit. And I come back next month at 12. So again, the doubling down, the
halving, yeah, halving.
Not 18, 17, 18. Next month, 4.5. It's even better.
So this is March.
Yeah, March. And the next one, 1.76. And feeling better all the time. So, for March, I decided to not take the oil for a bit. And I scaled off for a week. And I went down to just a pinhead again one day, and then 7 days of nothing. Weed-wise, oil-wise, nothing. And then had a little pinhead again, and then started up again. So for 1 week, and then guess what? My 176 went back up to 4.5. So I got to the point where I was not taking any more of these drugs, and then I jacked it up in April, and then I go back in, and I got this low number again, and now my most recent number is 1.19. That's the lowest ever, and I'm on the lowest amount of dose. Like I've come out of it. I no longer need it. Not going to recommend.
I think they regard the cannabis oil. The ones who haven't looked up on it, who read up on it, they don't regard it as anything more than homeopath. They just think it's bunk and nonsense.
Sure.
The ones who have read up on it are going, oh, I can't say anything about this because my allopathic license hangs in the balance.
Right. Money and the kids and the food on the table and all
exactly.
This. And that's got to end, Russell, because here's the thing. Here's my take home. Now, it's funny because no one's asked me to talk about this on any kind of recorded medium. Yet lots of people are saying, oh yeah, that's bullshit. I can't buy this. There's no proof. And none of them are asking me. None of them say, hey, let's see what your doctor said. Hey, let's take a look at these medical records. No one's saying that, but they're super happy to say it's bullshit.
Yep.
But you know what though? I understand people that have this weakness because as I have gone through this horrible ride, as I look back at it, like even a few months ago, and how I felt better then, and how fantastic I feel now. It's August for the record. As I was starting to come out of it, I mean, there were so many terrible scares and crashes with it, and I managed to pull out of it. As I look back on this journey of shit, yet turning into a fantastic thing, I also have a very difficult time believing it. Believing that it could have happened, believing that it did happen, understanding that I do have the proof, and being so grateful that I got to come out of it. And the part about me now that I don't get to keep is I kind of want to mind my own business kind of guy. I'm a comic, but I like to kind of be private, and I live kind of away from downtown and not part of fully that scene maybe as much as I maybe should have been in some people's estimations or whatever. But now, anybody wants to know about this option, they should know about this option, because if you look at the numbers of people that have gone through it, websites that can talk about it, people that have gone through it, I've got some Facebook friends that do a similar thing, and Tommy Chong that do a similar thing, great comedian, you know, by curing himself also with pot oil, and is a fantastic inspiration to me. Thinking about it, he was another guy that did cross my mind when I was in that dire strait. Yourself and Christine were like a bunch of different people and things I didn't know, and I said, okay, well, these guys can do it. Tommy John can do it. I want to give it a spin. How can I not? How's it going to feel? If it's a problem, well, what is that going to be? I got a little bit too high, or maybe I fell asleep a little longer, missed an appointment.
What's the worst that could happen? I'll laugh through my cancer death?